So, dear Dharma friends, this our human life is kind of like an iceberg. So, what you see in day-to-day life through your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind is not the real life. So, you experience this all as a result of your previous karma. And other thing is, there are a lot of things interconnected, and even though you see as one entity. So developing clarity moment by moment important to recognize this, and in that recognition the clarity that you gain within your own experience will lead you to come out of the illusion that we carry around us. So the illusion itself doesn't came from outside. So the illusion, this darkness or that unclarity that come out of our own inside views. So that's why it is important for you, don't try to get into understand something just looking the surface level of the iceberg, because underneath that 75% invisible, our life the same. Whatever the incident happened, the same. It for the good or the bad, the both. Whatever happened good or whatever happened bad, the both. Maybe what you see, what is appear to in front of you is just the shadow of something. But when you become mindful what is happening, you're not going to just you're not going to take the shadow as everything. You start to recognize it is a part of something. Within your all self-experience, whatever come to you with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, in every day, whatever the experience, the mostly average person, when we don't have the clarity what is happening, we just settle down with the shadow of the life and believing it is the life, it is everything. But there is deeper lot of things happening. So even that this computer or the cell phone that you experience in this very moment, and behind this all the screen and the buttons and this the outside layer, the mechanism inside, how advanced, how critical, how sharp it is, but we don't see. But when we mention computer or the cell phone, we don't mention that inside mechanism. Mostly we just talk about this surface level of what we experience. So that's why in the Vipassana level, it takes you to the depth and get into the whole picture without missing anything. That clarity will help you to get out of the illusion that the moment by moment we experience. Why? Because this illusion is so big. There's nothing wrong with the outside world. That outside itself, it has the clarity. So as example, when you look at the tree and you put a name to that tree, tree doesn't have a name. Tree doesn't come with the name. And the animals, you say this is cat, this is dog, The dog itself doesn't know it's dog. The cat doesn't recognize it as cat. Even it don't care about it. But we are the one who put that label. And what is happening in that label, we get into the label, and once you get into the label, you don't see the cat. You don't see the dog. You don't see the tree. You see the name that you put on it. That is what called illusion. That is what the surface level of, you see the outside layer. And the 75% of the iceberg you don't see anymore. So then in day-to-day life, most of your communication or the whatever the thoughts that almost every day happening within yourself, are you addressing to this whole picture, or are you addressing to this outside layer? Just question yourself. Even ourselves, when we go with the day-to-day experience, are we really experience who we are, or are we just hold it to these outside layers? That is why it called illusion. Because if from something, if you lose, if you don't see 75%, if you just hold it 25%, and how you can mention that you know about it? Everything the same. Just take few example regarding that. Your husband, wife, children, friends and family members, even the all these machines and technology or anything, even the nature, animal, what you know about it? What is the meaning that you knowing it? Maybe you just know only the name. You are become very limited to name. What is happening when you hold the name as everything? When you hear again and again and again, or when you see it again and again, you become very limited to that name. That is what happening with everything in day-to-day life. So then we have to be careful. So our purpose is, we're going to go through this all the layers. So we have to start within ourselves. That is what the vipassana. We don't become very limited to this outside surface level of the shadow experience. So then we observe and we go to the depth of that experience. So that is the process you need. Once you go within yourself, and then anything, whatever come to your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. Why? Because that is your world. That is the boundary of your world. If you start to think about this universe from the outside, and you will never find the end. But if you keep the limit as boundary to your world, as your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, whatever come to it as a form, then you get into the world, you recognizing the world. So that is you go with the self experience, but once you recognize that within yourself, and then you know what is this everything. That's how it's going to happen. And once you have the self-understanding, self-realization, it start to open your mind to understand whatever come to it. So when you are in this path, it doesn't happen overnight. So in the very surface level, you have to have a foundation. So that foundation is come out of these self facilities. You have to have these material things. That's why in the beginning of your spirituality, the way you maintain your physical and material is your spirituality in the beginning. We all depend from material. We all depend from this outside. So in the very first level, that's why that you need to develop the generosity in your life. So that is the foundation, and that's called dana. So the become generous. Why? Because once you start to give, there are two. One is you start to receive, and that facilities will help you to practice meditation and attain to the liberation. Another thing is that we have the strong attachment to this world, and another thing we able to release that attachment, and then we gain the freedom. So in the spiritual path, remember, if anyone don't practice dana or giving or releasing, that person cannot go further. There's no any development going to come. So then every day, remember, if you want to get into the deeper, clear understanding regarding this everything, so the very first thing that you have to do, even sit for meditation and start to share your life with others. Many different way. At least, through we have three actions: bodily action, verbal action, and mental action. So in any ways that you can share your life with others, and doing something, saying something, or thinking something good regarding others. So that help for other people. So it is completely different when you say, when you say, just think about this. When you say, I miss you, and when you say, I think about you, it huge difference. But mostly what you say mostly, I miss you. It's self-centered. It's about you. But when you say, I think about you, you keep the other person in the first place. So even at least thinking about others, it's kind of like giving your time little bit for others. And becoming generous is very necessary in the spiritual path, in ordinary life, your conventional life, your eternal life, your spiritual life. This giving is holding a huge part. So practice every day. Practice in different ways, whatever you can do. So look at today, you can do many other ways that, share your things with. It's very easy. Or you can start a blog, and then every day you write something good, and then you start to get followers. You start a Facebook page and start to post something good. Then, the people start to understand something. Why I say this? Because nowadays, look, all this young generation, even the elders, and get into this TikTok mindset. With this, going with this TikTok mindset, and the society is never going to reach to a good place. Our entire future going to screwed up, and going to go to a kind of like a very difficult place. Another thing is that this prank, this Facebook prank, the YouTube prank, people, make that practical joke. Look at it, it's go viral. And the people put their own people, they're trying to get the views, and what they try to share with others. And all this young generation, this way, it's kind of like a huge waves overtaking this, all the social medias, everything. It should not happen. They create the lie and they create the illusion, and the people get into that, and people addicted to every day, watch it, and the mind get the pollution, all the garbage they put into mind. So what you watch, you become. And then what is happening every day? You watch this and naturally you become like that. You become a joke. That's what we see every day. Nowadays, when somebody say lies, you don't care. It doesn't matter whoever the leaders or the gurus or the rishis or anybody. If they next day, if the gurus, if the monks start TikTok, so people laugh and watch it. But it is a very huge failure for entire our humanity. If the people come to that kind of, when you laugh for lie, where your mind end? You accepting that lies. So that's why in the Buddhism, that for jokes, laughing, so that things it doesn't have a space, because it make you a fool. So then it is very important. Why I am telling this? That because we have responsibility. When you look at the 1918, that when the Spanish flu came, then the whole world went through very hard time. And the recession came and everybody went through crazy situation, and somehow they came out of. But remember, after that, what happened? The people went to World War. And the people went to different kind of all the mindset, and the whole world became very crazy. It start from 1980, if you look at the history very carefully. And after that, it is not just they came out of the virus. Because of that incident, within that 2 years to 5 years, people went through hard time. And then after that 5-year gap, that 5-year, whatever the outcome, create all the bubble and blow out, and the countries start went to the white, and the world is, it's a whole world became kind of like a chaos, until it come to 1950, 1948, 50, like that. Look at it, is history. The same thing happening to us. And we are in this middle of the recession, and you come out of the virus and you say, oh, now no anymore virus. The gap that it creates, you don't see inside the human mind. People go crazy during this time. Look at how the people start to come out of this soul. What they create the gap. So they create the gap with all the jokes, and the most of, look this, that the thousands views, and the people's the watch these things, and this, so this practical joke, and using the girls and the boys and their own girlfriend and the boyfriend, their partners, even the husband, wife, even the whole family. It's a practical joke. When you go to social media, you see it. Millions views. What is that? People view. And it not only that, thumbs up. That is create. I'm telling you, remember, after this gap, then, so what happened in 1918, then remember, after we come out of this virus situation, and if we go like this way, it's going to create a huge, the bubble, and going to blow out. We are the one who creating it. You are the one who creating it. If you watch that kind of things, and if you share it, and if you give the thumbs up, maybe you're not going to be here, but your children going to suffer because of your thumbs up. You don't see. So that's why The becoming generous, it doesn't mean that you give this material. You have to have this, broad, wider understanding, sharing the wisdom. Because the human life itself depending from the wisdom. That is how who we are. Look at the human history. Day by day, day by day, day by day, the understanding become advanced. That is what happening. And whatever happened in the past and today, it's not going to happen. We are so far away from that situations. In the ancient time, when people having this, the thunders, and they used to worship thinking it is God. And when the rain come, they used to believe it is God. But today it's not like that. When the earthquake happened, they used to believe the God going to punish us. And when this kind of disease happened, they thought it is cursed by something or somebody, and they sacrifice a lot of things. But today it's not like that. The science and technology brought us to a moment to become more understand. Even look, before tornadoes come, and now they see it, and even before 1 month they can tell the tornado come, it's going to go this way, this way, this way, like that. They track its part, the moment by moment, and the speed. Look, it's the power of mind. It is the development of the mind. And when the disease come, and the 1918, when that Spanish flu happened, the world went through completely different when today. And because of the science and technology and our human mind, this our scientists, and we are able to even that the share our life like this, and we still somehow maintain our life somehow. It because of that the development of the mind. So then that your very nature is development of the mind. So whatever the life you had 10 years back, you're not going to have this. And you are more different than that. And it becoming better, 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 better. And your children going to become more better than you. That's the way it go. But if we don't develop that development with the basement of the spirituality, what will happen? We're going to suffer. That all the development going to bounce back as a curse. That is what happening. So there's nothing came to curse the human world. This everything came as a blessings. But we are the one who put that everything to wrong place and get the wrong result. So then yourself, everybody have the responsibility, So remember, so share your life. Share what you know. Otherwise, what will happen? The people who know that all the silly things, and they're going to share it. And then the world becomes silly. Don't blame to anybody. Go to in front of the mirror and blame to yourself. Why? Because you didn't do what you have to do. And then other person, whoever did it, don't blame to them. So like that, sharing is important part. That is the beginning of the spiritual. That's why it comes the first, Dharma. It is just not, the giving something and offering something. The offering the wisdom, sharing what you know, also the Dharma. So that's why I want to remind that. And because when we see in the large scale, and we can see that where are we going. It should not happen. So that's why that yourself, you have responsibility. Remember that. And so the next one is the sila, is mean the discipline. When you develop the spiritual path, when you get want to recognize the iceberg completely, and when you want to get out of the illusion of the surface level illusion, the next one is the discipline. So develop moral discipline, human ethics is very important. So when it comes to that, always remember the respecting each other is the important thing. So don't cross your boundaries, don't cross the lines, and always, no matter what, Each and every living beings have the rights to live. So that is the first thing. So we appreciate it. We don't overtake anyone's life. And the becoming generous, and when it comes to that generosity, and it lead to other part, and it connected to this rituals, and the one of the when it comes to discipline, the first one is not killing. And when it comes to generosity, you know the most highest way to become generous. So think from today, the most highest powerful way to become generous is giving freedom to others. Giving freedom just means giving their own rights to others to live comfortably without overtaking, developing any kind of hierarchy inside you, and releasing them from your authority is the one of the best generosity. And that is the one of the best discipline. God. And you appreciate others' life, and you don't disturb to anybody. You respect everyone. So that way you develop a well-disciplined life, and especially when you practice something. So with that practice, you stay in your boundary line and you don't cross the other things. And that is the main thing with the important thing with the discipline. So when it comes to meditation, or when it comes to this spiritual path, or in day-to-day life yourself, so remember, always respect others, no matter what. The very first rule, respect. Never try to cross the others' boundary lines. So you yourself, it doesn't matter what you lose. It doesn't matter that what other people get, but yourself keep the respect. That is one of the best discipline that you can practice. When we go to the precepts, when we go to 5 precepts, 8 precepts, 10 precepts, that there are a lot of in details, but if you put this everything together, remember, learn to respect and appreciate. And the third one is the bhavana, or the development of your mind. So that's why the best way is samatha and tranquility, the vipassana meditation. So we read, we learn, and we acquire the general knowledge in day-to-day life. But to develop the real wisdom, remember, and every day, few minutes, just settle down yourself, tranquility meditation, and calm down, and not to accumulate anything, learn to release everything. And then from there, you go to vipassana and observe deeply with the very clear mind how things come to be as they are. That make you clear, and that clarity take you out of the illusion happening inside us. So that is how this go step by step, and try to understand this. And we are living in this 21st century, in the middle, this 2020, we are in the middle of this year. So we all have responsibilities, and we are in a very good time period if we use it very wisely. And as parents, as elders, as especially young people, you have responsibility yourself, and don't miss this opportunity. And because that if the gap create the bubble, and then no one can stop it, going to blow out. So but still we have time, to to build up a very beautiful path out of this all the difficulties. But it is in your hand. That's the important thing. So with that, I'm going to tell you a story. So in during Buddha's time, there was a monk called the Venerable Sivali, and he used to receive the most of the material things, and he is the greatest monk out of all the Sangha community to receive. And one time in a previous life, when he having a just ordinary life, and he was an ordinary monk in another lifetime, and he used to practice to give. So one day he went to Pindapata, so that's mean begging for his lunch. And then 3 days he was hungry. He didn't get any food. 3 days. So somehow one day he got very little bit of the meal, the food. So he took it and he went to look for a place to sit and find some water, because that time they used to travel place to place. And then he was ready to eat it. So he found a place under the tree with the good shade, and the water was next to it. So he started to eat. And he ate it, and when he washed the bowl, and he saw there was a dog with 7 little babies, puppies, came with the great hunger, and they smell the food. But what happened, this monk already ate, and he got very little food, and after 3 days he got it. And now this dog and this little the 7 little puppies, babies, and came to this place and smelling. So this monk saw that nothing to give. Even the bowl also wash and throw the water. But he knew that they almost die. And there is no time to go back, because after 12, when the monks go to village looking for food, no one going to offer it. It's only morning time. And even he far away from the village now, because he looking for a place to sit and find water. He came, and there's no way to go back. And then he start to think what I can do. What he did, he put his own hand to inside the mouth, and first drink some water, and put his own hand to his mouth, and then vomit that all the food that he ate, and gave that food to dog and that the 7 little babies. And again and again, again and again, he did it. And then what happened? He was in hunger for 3 days, and so he put too much his hand to inside, and then it's got wounded inside, damaged inside, the blood came, and then his body became so weak, and as a result of that, he died that life. But then later, he born in during this our Buddha's time, Gautama the Buddha's time, and as Venerable Sivali, and he became a monk. And wherever he goes, and no any time that he missed the meal, and not only him, and if any other monks go with him, that everybody used to receive the food. Even the Buddha himself, when they were trying to travel somewhere like a very rural area, and in any difficult time period, even the Buddha asked many times, is Sivali come with us? Then, because if the Sivali is with us, we're not going to miss the food or miss the facilities. So that is the power of giving. So remember yourself that from tomorrow, we don't know with this sansara what going to happen, how dark this going to be, or how light or how beautiful this going to be. We don't know. But yourself, the one of the best way to secure your journey until you attain to the Nibbana. Remember, whenever you have time, with the great, the respect, practice the generosity. Give yourself, because in the samsaric journey, it doesn't matter whatever the difficult time periods come, you're going to be okay. That is very necessary, because then you can use that all the facilities to practice meditation and attain to Nibbana. And it brings you the safety to your samsaric journey. So then whenever you have time, even with the little things, even with the ideas, when you see a poor person or when you see somebody need something, maybe you don't have anything to give, but at least have a wish, may that person will receive something from somebody. That wish may become powerful to bring that to someone. So like that, always keep your mind clear with the generosity. That's going to become a great help for you. And so with that, I bless upon everyone. With this good practice, may all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbhityo vajjantu sabbarogo vinassatu mate bhavattantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava. Ittavata ca ammehi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you. So thank you very much, everyone.